everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Sophie and today's video is going to be another episode of reading BookTok/TikTok hyped books. So I've got 3 books to read in this vlog. The first one is Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. All I know about this one is it's like British Gossip Girl. Apparently it's like full of toxic relationships. It's like the rich and powerful. And yeah, I thought I'd give this one a go, so I'll start with this one. We're then going to read The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. All I know about this one is this girl inherits like billions of dollars from some unknown person, and obviously their family isn't very happy about that, so that's all I know about this one. And then the final book we're going to read is A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. I don't know too much about this one, apart from it's inspired by like Norse mythology or something. It's like a fantasy romance. But yeah, I've never read anything by this author before, so we'll see what I think of this one when we get to it. But yeah, let's start with Magnolia Park. Hey guys, so I've read the first 170 pages of Magnolia Park. I don't know how I feel about this one. Like, it's not good. Like, it's badly written. There's so many like grammatical errors, but I can't put it down. Like, the characters are the worst, but I just can't stop reading it. Like, BJ is just so toxic. He's the worst. And like Magnolia's, I just wish they'd talk to each other. Like, there's so much miscommunication in here, and I just feel like if they just talk to each other, there wouldn't be this like, oh, he's gonna go out and sleep with another girl to make her jealous, and then she's not gonna fake date people to make him jealous. And it's just like, just admit that, like, yeah, what he cheated on her back when they were in a relationship like 3 years ago, and it's just like, just either get back together or just move on. Like, stop with this like merry-go-round of God knows what, and like, it's like so bad that it's kind of good. Like, I don't know. Like, I just can't stop reading it, but like, I don't want to read it. BJ and Magnolia dated. They're like childhood sweethearts. They dated for years, and then BJ has cheated on her and she broke up, and like, she can't forgive him, but like, they still love each other, so like, they still sleep in the same bed every night. But like, he sleeps with other girls, she like fake dates people to make him jealous. He's just like actually the worst. So like, she goes to lunch with her friends, and like, he knows where she's going to be, so he just goes with his friend, sits on the next table and just like winds her up. And it's just like, you are so toxic. Like, this poor girl, like, I mean, she's like just as bad. Like, she plays him, but it's the fact as well that like, he knows how she feels about him, and he just goes and like picks up girls in front of her, and it's just like, girl, how do you still love him? Like, what do you see? Like, I don't understand what she sees in him. Like, BJ is literally the worst. I am not rooting for them. I am not rooting for them at all. I hate him. I'm so confused. I can't stop reading it. I can't stop reading it. Oh my god. Like, yeah, I mean, we'll see what I think later on, but like, I think it's still gonna be the same. Like, it's so bad, but it's actually good, you know? This is a weird one. I can see why people love it, but like, do not aspire to have a relationship like this. This is just the worst. Ugh, I don't know. Hey everyone, so I'm just checking back in because I have now finished reading Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings, and I'm so conflicted on this one because, was it good? No. Could I not stop reading it? No, I couldn't stop reading it. Like, this was 370 pages of just the same argument over and over again between BJ and Magnolia about him cheating and him sleeping around, and then she starts sleeping around, and it's literally just the same argument every single chapter. And then suddenly, just like that, a switch is flipped, and suddenly she changes her mind about the whole thing, and then we have like a massive revelation at the very end about the whole cheating fiasco from years ago. And it's just like, the last sort of 40-ish pages were where everything happened. Like, the other 370 pages were just, yeah, the same argument over and over. What's that saying about like a car crash? Like, you know you shouldn't look, but you can't look away. That's what this book is. It's a car crash, and you know you shouldn't, but you just can't stop. Will I carry on with this series? Yes. Like, was it good? No, not really. Like, what happened? I can't tell you. Like, but I loved it. Like, this is such a weird one. Like, I can see why everyone loves it, but also it wasn't good. Like, but it wasn't good, but it was so good. Like, I don't know what to rate this one. Like, I think, like, writing wise, plot wise, everything like that, it's like a 2 star. but for enjoyment it's like a 5-star. The 5-star is like the last 40 pages. The first 370 are like just the same thing over and over again. And like, I don't understand how everyone is in love with this girl, and she loves all these boys, and it's just like, girl, just pick another one, just pick anyone but him. Like, he's the worst. And the fact that he like slut shames her, like he sleeps with hundreds of girls and he like pulls them in front of her to make her jealous, and then like she sleeps with literally one guy in 3 years and he's like slut shaming her. I'm like, girl, he doesn't deserve you. Like, he's the worst. I'm not rooting for them. I'm really not rooting for them. This was a weird one. I'm so glad I read it though, because like, this is like such a good like palette cleanser. Like, I read a lot of fantasy and stuff, so this is going to be a great series. Like, when I'm sort of getting in a bit of a, I've had enough of fantasy and I need a good quick pick me up, this is this series. Like, I cannot wait to read the second one. And I know the second one, Daisy Hates, is like, timeline is parallel to this one. I'm trash for this now. I'm trash for it. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. This is TikTok, you did it again. You did it again. Hey guys, so I'm just checking in because I have started reading A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. My book's in its book sleeve, so I'm just going to hold up the cover. So I'll just read out the synopsis because I've tried to summarise this myself a couple of times and I'm not really doing a very good job. So I'm just going to read out the synopsis and then let you know my initial thoughts on this book. Found in an unwanted marriage, Freya spends her days gutting fish but dreams of becoming a warrior and of putting an axe in her boorish husband's back. Favour's dreams abruptly become reality when her husband betrays her to the region's Jarl, landing her in a fight to the death against his son. To survive, Freya is forced to reveal her deepest secret. She possesses a drop of a goddess's blood, which gives her magic capable of repelling any attack. A magic that was foretold would unite the fractured nation of Skaland beneath a king, the one who controls the Shield Maiden's fate. Believing he's destined to rule Skaland, the fanatical Jarl binds Freya with a blood oath and orders his son Bjorn to protect her from their enemies. Desperate to prove her strength, Freya must train to fight and learn to control her magic, all while facing perilous tests set by the gods. Except the greatest test of all may be resisting her forbidden attraction to Bjorn. If Freya succumbs to her lust for the charming and fierce warrior, she risks not only her own destiny, but the fate of all the people she swore to protect. So most of that synopsis has already happened. So we've gotten to the point where she's killed the husband, she's had to marry the Jarl, they haven't consummated the marriage because the Jarl has a wife already who, I don't like her. She reminds me a bit of like Cersei Lannister from Game of Thrones. She seems to be constantly plotting behind the Jarl's back, and like, I do think she may turn on him because she wants her son, I think his name was Leif or something, her son, who's the Jarl's second born son after Bjorn, to be the next Jarl or like the king one day. I definitely think she's maneuvering things to sort of get Bjorn out of the way. And the whole relationship between Freya and Bjorn, so I don't really see it at the moment. Like, when they first met, there was initial attraction, but I think she likes him because he was kind to her. That's the only thing I can think of because we haven't really had many interactions with them. It's definitely lust. Yeah, I just don't really see it. I mean, I am only like 140-ish pages in, so we are still quite early on in the book. But yeah, I'm not really seeing it at the moment. And to be honest, I'm more interested in the fantastical elements of this book. So it's based on Norse mythology, and the whole thing with like the gods blessing people with gifts is really quite interesting. And we've only explored that a little bit. I guess as Freya learns a bit more about her powers and her fate or her space in the world, how she's going to fit in, I think we'll learn more about the magic system then, which I'm definitely more interested in. The romance, I can kind of take or leave. None of the characters are really all that interesting. Like, we meet Freya's brother and her like best friend who loves her brother, and I don't like the best friend. Like, Freya's basically sacrificed her entire life to keep her family safe, and no one really seemed all that grateful. Kind of just want her to burn the world down, you know? I'm not really sure what I'm thinking of this one so far. Like, I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm enjoying the fantastical elements. The romance, I'm just kind of like not really that interested in. But I find myself reading and I'm not really like absorbed into the book. I find myself getting quite easy distracted. It's not gripping me at the moment. So yeah, we'll see how I get on with this one. Like, a bit later on, I'll check back in and let you know what I think. But yeah, I am enjoying it, but it's definitely not like amazing for me so far anyway. But yeah, I'll check back in with you guys a bit later. Hey guys, so I'm just up to chapter 23 in A Fate Inked in Blood. That's 253 pages in. I have to say, I'm really not loving this one. I don't think fantasy romance is a genre for me. This is an inkling I've had for a little while now, because the fantasy aspects of this book I'm enjoying. There's not enough of it. The world building isn't very good. Like, the magic system really hasn't been explained very well. Like, the whole blessing with the gods thing has been like very briefly explained, but not very well. And yeah, I'm reading this book and I'm just finding like I'm getting so easily distracted, and my head is wandering. It's just not gripping me. Maybe the romance could have saved it. Like, I love fantasy. I am primarily a fantasy reader, but I do love a bit of romance as well. I'm really into romance right now, but combining the two together just doesn't really work for me, because I just feel like neither aspect is done very well. I think fantasy with little bits of romance in, like, it's not the main plot kind of thing, works well, and romance works well on its own. I don't like the two together because, like I said, the fantasy in this book is not done very well, and I don't really like the romance. I don't feel like they have any chemistry. She's just a horny bitch. Like, literally, like, we've just had a bit where someone's burnt an entire village down, and like they've gone to this village, and like so many people died, and like the whole village is destroyed, and she's like, oh, but look how handsome Bjorn is. Like, oh, I wish he would just shag me. And it's just like, girl, people have died and you're just thinking about sex. Like, that's all she thinks about. Like, being in her head is so, like, I'm not enjoying reading from her perspective. And like, I just don't see what she sees in Bjorn. Like, we're told he's like handsome and stuff, but like, he just has no personality. I don't get it. And like, I feel like the whole like, it's a forbidden romance because she's married to his dad, and it's just like, it's not. I'm not vibing with this. I think this is going to be like a 2.53 stars. Like, I was so tempted earlier to just DNF it, but I kind of wanted to see if it got any better. Like, the fantasy aspects were really intriguing me. And at this point, I've got like 150-ish pages left. So I feel like I could read that pretty quick. But yeah, I'm not enjoying this one, guys. I'm really not. And I'm so gutted because the whole like Norse mythology thing is so interesting, so cool, and like, there needs to be more books that involve like Norse mythology, or at least I haven't read many and I want to, and like, this really did sound like my thing. And I can't even remember what's the girl's name. What's the main character's name? I don't even remember. I can't even remember her name. Freya. I thought it was like Anna or something. Honestly, I picked this back up. I read 140 pages and then I didn't read it for a couple of days because I've been working and stuff. And I was just like, they were on a mountain and I was like, how did they get here? Like, I just forgot. Like, it's just, I'm gonna finish this and I'm forgetting details now even as I'm reading it. It's just not for me. Not for me. I'll finish it, but I am disappointed because the cover is stunning, and like, as well, this is the Fairy Loot edition that I've got. And like, the chapters is, I don't know if you can really see, but like, there's really cool like watermarks. Is that what like they're called? Because like, there's a really cool one of like there it is, of like an axe. I don't want to lose my page, but like, there's a really cool one of like an axe. Like, it's absolutely stunning. Yeah, it's not for me. I can see why people like it. I see why it's blown up on BookTok, but I just feel like BookTok loves fantasy romance, and I just don't think fantasy romance is for me. And this book is kind of solidifying that. I also think as well, Fairy Loot, before they launched their fantasy romance book subscription, they knew it was popular and they put a load of fantasy romance books into the fantasy box, and that's how I've ended up with a load, and I'm just not enjoying them. It's not for me. It's not for me. I love fantasy. I love romance. Fantasy romance. Maybe you guys can recommend me some good ones. Like, maybe I just haven't found the right one yet. If you can think of any good fantasy romance books where the fantasy is actually done well, please let me know. And please don't recommend Jennifer L. Albontrout. I'm really not interested in those books. I'm really not. Okay, rant over. Let's finish this book. Hey guys, I'm just popping back in as I have now finished A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. I'm going to give this one 2.5 stars. It was alright. Like, yeah, the romance, same as my last update, I just really didn't buy into the romance. And I just feel like this wasn't really written very well either. Like, at one point, she, like, near the end, Freya's like tied down, and then suddenly she's just like jumped in the water, and it's like, how did you get untied? it's just, yeah, this wasn't really for me. It was very tropey. There wasn't really, the plot was really very weak, and I think this relied heavily on the romance, and like all they could think about was banging each other, and I was just like, I just don't care. I do not care. I just don't care. And yeah, I'm just going to pretend like maybe the last couple of chapters didn't happen. Like if you've read this book, then we'll finish it happily ever after kind of thing. And I'm just going to pretend like I didn't read the last couple of, like, 2 chapters maybe. And yeah, we're done. I'm not continuing this series. Yeah, it's really sad because this cover is absolutely gorgeous, but yeah, this just was not for me. Was not for me. So that moves us on to the last book for this reading vlog, which is going to be The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I've never read anything by Jennifer Lynn Barnes before, but I know she's got a couple of series out. I don't really know too much about this one, so I'll just read the back. It says, $1 billion fortune. Avery has a plan. Keep her head down. Work hard for a better future. Then an eccentric billionaire dies, leaving her almost his entire fortune, and no one, least of all Avery, knows why. A deadly game. Now she must move into the mansion she's inherited. It's filled with secrets and codes and the old man's surviving relatives. Family hell-bent on discovering where Avery got their money. Winner takes all. Soon she is caught in a deadly game that everyone in this strange family, how far will they go to keep their fortune? Sounds pretty cool. So yeah, let's dive on into this one. Hey guys, I'm just checking back in. I have now started reading The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I am actually about 220 pages in. I've only got about 150 pages left. This one is such a quick read, which I'm really enjoying. It's kind of not what I was expecting. I think I was maybe a bit misinformed about what this one was actually not about, but I thought there'd be more like fantastical elements. Like I was kind of expecting like the Hunger Games, but for inheritance, but not the Hunger Games, if that makes sense. I think because it's called the Inheritance Games, I was expecting something more fantastical or like dystopian kind of thing. This is more like a contemporary mystery. Like, so we're following Avery, and she's inherited this fortune. There's a cat. She has to live in this house with the family. She can't kick them out. Bias Hawthorne, who left her all this money, is still like playing games with him. There's like he's left clues and stuff, and they have to find out what the heck's going on. Like, I don't even really know what's going on. Like, he disinherited his family, but there's a will that was written 20 years prior to this will that is valid, and he had disinherited his family then. So it wasn't like he disinherited them for Avery. He disinherited them for a reason, and we don't know what that reason is, but we're trying to find out. And it's certainly interesting. It's a very quick read. Like, I've flown through this. I think I might be able to get this finished tonight. I will say one thing that's really annoying me is I had this thing in books when, like, instead of swearing, they swap the word out. Like, and it's just like, just don't swear. Either swear or don't. But don't like say like, oh, instead of bastard, they say like, oh, those sexy mustards instead of sexy bastards. It's like, just don't do that. But other than that, I am quite enjoying this one. Yeah, it's just very different to what I was expecting, and I am actually really enjoying it. So yeah, I'm excited to continue on with this one. Like I said, hopefully get this one finished tonight, and I'll check back in maybe later on tonight or tomorrow morning once I finish this one. But yeah, really enjoying this one so far. Hey everyone, so I'm just checking back in and to wrap this vlog up because I have now finished reading The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I finished this one last night, so I read this within like an afternoon. I will say this is a very quick read, but for me, I think it was like a 3-star read. It was good. Like, I liked it, but it wasn't really anything special. Like, the mystery was intriguing, but not that intriguing, if that makes sense. I will be continuing on with this series. I do have the second and third book. So I think they'll be quite good for like reading on an evening after work. They don't really require too much attention, and they're just a bit of fun. But yeah, this one got 3 stars. So to wrap up this vlog, I read Magnolia Parks, which I gave 3 stars. I then read A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen, which I gave 2.5 stars. And then obviously The Inheritance Games, which I gave 3 stars. So a bit on the lower side of ratings for this week's vlog. But that's okay, not every book can be a 5-star read. But yeah, that's it for today's video. So please remember to like if you've enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!